Scare School Diaries. Welcome to Scare School by Jarrett Lerner. Private. Do not turn another page, or else. My schedule. Student, Bash, Ghost. Homeroom, Graves. Period 1. Class, Introduction to Scare Tactics with Miss Graves. Period 2. Cackles, Laughs, and Other. Period 3. Human Behavior with Headmaster Dave. Period 4. Lunch with Captain Loosebeard. Period 5. Advanced Creeping and Crawling with Professor Sneck. Period 6. Philosophy of Fear with Miss Scully. Period 7. Creature Intensive with Mr. Crane. Sunday. Tomorrow is my first day at Scare School. Dad's dropping me off in the morning. And since this is my totally private notebook that no one else is going to read ever, I guess I can say I'm kind of scared. Which is kind of silly, I know. Kids go to Scare School to learn how to be scary, not to be scared. But I can't help it. I've just never been very good at all the ghost stuff. Me trying to make myself invisible. Me trying to pass through a wall. Dad says I'm just a late bloomer. He says I'll learn my skills in no time, and that being at a Scare School will help. He says the teachers there are the best of the best, and that soon enough I'll be as scary a ghost as any. He also keeps talking about how I'm going to make so many friends. Dad, insert optimistic stuff here. But I'm not so sure about all that, and maybe the friend thing especially. I haven't spent much time around creatures my own age, and every time I have, well, let's just say it never goes well. Hi, hello, hey, my, Bash's name. No, I mean, name is my, Bash. Dad also keeps bringing up my sister. Bella went to Scare School, he says. She left it. And yeah, I know, but that's because Bella is Bella. Bella. Boo. Bella was passing through brick walls as a baby. She could go invisible for a whole day by the time she was 4. She used to do it all the time when she didn't want to play with me. Sometimes I think Bella was born with so much talent there was none left over for me. Family talent. Bella's share, Bash's share. Another thing I'm kind of worried about is that I'm going to have a roommate. That means I have to share a bedroom with somebody else for the whole entire year, and I don't even get to pick who it's going to be. What if it's a troll? Or a vampire? Or a snot monster? Me, if I had a snot monster for a roommate. But I have one more night here at home with Dad, so for now, I'm just going to focus on that. Last dinner at home with Dad, we are all my favorite things. Popsicles, pizza, peppers. I just realized all my favorite foods start with the letter P. Monday. Well, I did it. I survived my very first day at Scare School. Obviously. If I got eaten by a snot monster or something, I wouldn't be here writing it in my diary. You don't have a light in here, do you? Me. Anyway, it was a long day. So much happened, and I want to make sure to get it all down. I'm going to start at the very beginning so I don't forget a thing. Me and Dad on the way to Scare School. Dad super happy and excited. Me not super happy and excited. My stuff. My house, the ice cream shop, the bookstore, the forest, my Scare School. The flight took us 45 minutes. Dad flew me all the way up to Scare School's gigantic front door, and once we were right up next to it, I could hear stuff coming from behind it. All sorts of sounds. First, I heard footsteps. Fast ones. Like someone was running. Roar! But then the running stopped and I heard something I didn't expect. Laughter. A bunch of it. There was a group of creatures behind that door cracking up, having the time of their lives. And hearing that, well, I'm not going to lie. I was still nervous, but I was also just the tiniest bit curious, too. I didn't have long to think about that, though. It was time for Dad and me to say our goodbyes. Here we are, Bashy. There's nothing to worry about, son. You'll be fine. You're going to do great. You sure are. I'm Headmaster Dave, and you must be Bash. Now, come in. Can't be late on your first day. He seems nice. Before Dad left, he told me, again, that I was going to do great at Scare School. But this time, he also said that if I didn't do so great, it was okay. He'd still love me and be proud of me. Then he said, see you in a couple weeks. And just like that, like it was no big deal. The truth, though, is that I've never been away from Dad for 2 whole weeks before. I've never been away from Dad ever. This is my first time sleeping away from home, and I've got to do it for 11 nights in a row. Today, Monday. When I see Dad again, Friday. Classes at Scare School are broken up into sessions. Each session is 2 weeks long. At the end of each session, students get to go home and spend the weekend with their families. Unless they've been eaten by a snot monster. Then I guess they have to go to the snot monster's house for the weekend. Mommy! Me. Anyway, pretty much as soon as I flew through the front door of the school, before I even really got a chance to look around, the day started. Welcome to your orientation. Orientation, I found out, is just a fancy word for a day when you learn everything you need to know about a place and how it works. We were given our class schedules, then taken on a tour of the school. That actually took up most of the day, because halfway through the tour, Headmaster Dave misplaced his body. We eventually found it in the library. We spent the rest of the day hanging out in the cafeteria, just getting to know all our teachers and classmates. First, the teachers. Headmaster Dave, actually headless, always happy and excited, laughs for no apparent reason. Mr. Crane, never happy or excited, probably has never laughed. Since he's also a ghost, I have to do my creature intensive with him. Bummer. Miss Graves, my homeroom teacher. She's got a big bowl of candy in her room, so she can't be that bad, right? Professor Sneck. Might even be more serious than Mr. Crane. I'm pretty nervous about class with him. Captain Loosebeard, the school cook, seems super nice. Keeps talking about some dish he calls the bean surprise. Miss Scully also seemed nice. She runs the library and said we can check out as many books at a time as we want. Score. And now, the students. Itzy, so nice, also funny, was next to her for most of orientation. Vlad and Vicky, so not nice. I stayed as far away from them as I could, but kept hearing them making jokes about everybody. Wes, a werewolf, mostly kept to himself, but had a notebook he was drawing in. Maybe he'd want to draw with me. Mimi, a snot monster, the first one I've ever seen in a real life. They're not as scary as I thought they'd be, or maybe it's just that Mimi doesn't seem all that scary. Zara, a zombie, first one of those I've seen in real life, too. Didn't get a chance to talk to her much. Mumford, he talked to me a whole bunch, but I couldn't understand him through all his rappings. Batsley, he slept through most of orientation. Getting to know everyone was actually kind of fun. I was nervous that I wouldn't know what to say to the other kids, but pretty much as soon as we all started talking, I forgot all about being nervous. It went fine. Great even. Did you know? See? Told you she was smart. Wes likes to draw too. He's really good. Snot monsters have a sense of humor. Eventually, we had dinner. It was really good. And then, just as we were finishing our desserts, Captain Loosebeard announced that it was time to get our roommate assignments. When I heard that, all the nervousness I'd stopped feeling came rushing back. And staying together in room number 9 is... Please, 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 please. Bash and Itzy. Roomies! Can you believe it? I was so relieved. Because if I'd been able to choose my own roommate, I definitely would have picked Itzy. When we got to our room, I made my bed and Itzy spun herself a big cozy web. Then she turned to me and said, "Hey Bash, I'm glad we're roommates. I was hoping we'd be." Really? Really. What a day. Like I said, it was a long one, but also a good one, which I hadn't been expecting. It's got me thinking, maybe my time here at Scare School won't be so bad after all. Though I guess I'll find out tomorrow because today was just orientation. Tomorrow is my first real day of classes. Tuesday. Today was my first day of actual classes. It was, well, let's just say that it could have gone better. Much better. But I do have one good thing to report about my classes, and that's that Itzy is in almost all of them. And that made the day way better than it would have been otherwise. Anyway, here are the highlights from my morning. First period, the unseen is often scarier than the seen, which is why it's important for all of you to learn how to hide. Aw, man, I've never been good at hiding. Are you any good at it, Itzy? Itzy! Well, I guess that answers my question. Second period, repeat after me. Mwahaha. Mwahaha. No, listen. Mwahaha. Mwahaha. Sigh. Third period, and that's why so many kids think monsters hang out under beds. Yes, Vlad, did you have a question? Yeah, where's the rest of you? In the bathroom. That's one of the best parts of being separated. It can go, and I can stay. Fourth period, we have lunch. It couldn't come soon enough. At the start of the period, Captain Loosebeard went around with a big cart full of our food options for the day. He tried to get everyone to take some of his bean surprise, but it looked a little weird. It also had a funky smell, more like socks than beans. Bean surprise. I went with a grilled cheese. Just a grilled cheese. Batsy was actually the only kid brave enough to try the bean surprise. Not bad. Lunch was over way too soon, and then it was time for the rest of the day's classes. Fifth period. Snack, 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 snack. Are we supposed to be able to speak snake? I don't think so. Snack, 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 snack. Snack, 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 snack. Snack? Sixth period. Dark and light, large and small, hard and soft, loud and quiet, messy and tidy. This is even more confusing than Professor Snack's class. Yup. Seventh period, I have my creature intensive with Mr. Crane. And since I'm the only ghost here at Scare School right now, it means it's just me and Mr. Crane. Class is supposed to help get me better at my special creature skills, which are all the things that only ghosts can do. Most ghosts, I mean. Ones who are actually good at ghost stuff. After classes, Itzy and I hung out in our room. We did a little decorating, then Itzy showed me her books, and guess what? Half of them were comics. She even had a couple that I've got back at home too. We talked about comics, and then without realizing I was doing it, I asked if she wanted to see my sketchbook. As soon as I said it, I wished I hadn't. I've never shown anyone my sketchbook before, not even Dad. But then Itzy said, "Of course I do." So I showed her, and she seemed impressed. "These are so good." Then she said, "Hey, We should make our own comics sometime. I got excited about that. That's the best idea ever. I mean, yeah, that'd be cool. We got right to it even though we only had a little time left before dinner, but we already got a ton done. We made up a pair of superhero characters. Annette and I did a few drawings of them. Itzy hung one up in our room. Ghost Guy and Super Spider. After that, I was in a much better mood. At dinner, right after we got our food, Miss Scully went around the cafeteria with a stack of mail. I wasn't expecting to get a letter, especially since I'd only been at Scare School for a day, but then Miss Scully set an envelope down right in front of me. To Bash. But I was even more surprised when I turned the envelope over and saw who the letter was from. From Bella. Bella? My big sister. Not my biggest fan. When Bella is home, she usually does everything she can to avoid talking to me. And here she was writing me a letter? It doesn't make any sense. The only thing I can think is that Dad swung by the house she haunts on his way back from dropping me off yesterday. And that he'd somehow convinced her to do it. Anyway, here's what she said. Hey, little bro. I just got this new typewriter, so I figured I might as well write a letter and try it out. I hope you're liking school all right. If you're not, you'll get used to it. And hey, don't compare yourself to me. No one's as awesome as I am. So, don't be too hard on yourself. Mr. Kramer will be plenty hard on you as it is, LOL. You can write me back if you feel like it. Or not, I don't care. Bella. I was still trying to wrap my head around the fact that my sister had sent me a letter when Headmaster Dave went up to the front of the cafeteria and cleared his throat. He said that he hoped we all had a wonderful first day of classes. Then he said that he wanted to talk to all of us about our creature intensives. I'd really rather not. Headmaster Dave told us that our creature intensive were to help us prepare for something called the CAT, which stood for the Creature Aptitude Test. I guess every student has to take a version of the test at the end of next week. In order to pass the test, you have to prove that you can perform at least 2 of your special creature skills, all of which is frightening enough. But wait, because this is the really scary part. If you don't pass your test, you get kicked out of Scare School. Headmaster Dave didn't put it like that. He said something like, students who fail to pass their examination will not be eligible to enroll in any subsequent Scare School sessions, but that amounts to the same thing.